Hello, thank you for watching this YouTube video. This is Namtro with Namtro Gaming. Today we will be going over their ability Poison Arrow. Poison Arrow is an ability with the tags of Chaos, Attack, Area Effect, Duration, and Bow. Duration affects how long the poison cloud exists. By poison cloud I mean when we attack and we don't have this gem in there. When we attack, it makes a poison cloud that does damage over time, and it explodes at the wherever our cursor is, or if it hits an enemy. It can also hit obstacles and explode as well. The thing to note too is it also does have a duration. The duration is how long that cloud exists after the arrow first initially hits. It also has an upfront damage. It does its physical damage or all of its elemental damage plus an extra 30% of whatever your physical damage adds chaos damage. You can make upfront builds that do decent chaos damage with this, but usually when you're using this ability, you're using it more for the poison cloud. The poison cloud itself is only modified by projectile damage, chaos damage, and damage over time nodes. Those are the three things that are affected by it. The ability itself cannot even crit. So crit chance on your bow, crit chance on the skill. The cloud itself can't crit. The only thing that can crit is the upfront, but the upfront does not modify the damage per second at all. So, a lot of people use this more for the damage over time effect of it, and the best way to increase the effectiveness of that is by doing a couple different things. But first we're going to be doing a couple other things. Showing you what you can do with the gem. You can do like chain, you could do multiple projectile. Like both of those are things you can do. When it does bounce to different mobs, it does create one cloud for each mob. But the thing is the clouds cannot overlap. I mean, they do overlap, but they don't actually do any extra damage. Same thing with lesser multiple projectile. It will make 3 clouds, but they're overlapping. Overlapping clouds do no extra damage. They always do the same damage to whatever mob that's in there. So meaning it's only going to do 2.6 damage a second, no matter how many clouds are on that area. So lesser multiple projectile is not really going to work. Physical projectile damage doesn't work either, because you would want it to increase the chaos damage. So this gem doesn't work as well. Any added lightning or added chaos wouldn't really be good at either, because that just is going to increase the upfront damage, and that's not really what you're going for. Crit damage doesn't do anything as well. Accuracy is kind of a moot point too, because the arrow explodes to wherever you're pointing at. You don't even have to hit them in order for the poison cloud to go off. So that's not really a thing. But area effect increases the area of the poison. Concentrated effect decreases the area but increases the potency of the poison. And then, to go a step further, you could also link it with such things as trap. Trap would let you throw the arrow to area, and then it'd release a poison that does more damage, because trap is a more multiplier, does 15% more damage, and that's a level 1 trap, so it gets even better as time goes on. As you see, the damage is getting a little better. Then if you wanted to too, you could step it up even more using a remote mine. Remote mine would be kind of weird if you use it both with a trap and a remote mine, but when you do, it puts a mine down that makes a trap that fires an arrow, but it double dips, letting you get both multipliers from both the remote mine and from the trap, so that ends up being 45% more damage. And then if you add in something like conk effect with increased area effect, you can see where that more damage just gets even more absurd. But as I said, the damage itself can only be increased with dot damage, chaos damage, and projectile damage. So basically, this one node right here would be projectile damage, but these wouldn't work because bow damage does not increase the dot; it only increases the upfront damage. Point blank would work as long as you're next to it. From what I heard, it might work from where the trap is. I'm not 100% sure on that, so don't quote me on that. But you can do stuff like increase area effect, and blast radius would increase the damage and how big the poison cloud is. And same thing with amplify with these area effect nodes. Projectile damage, so any projectile damage you see here would all increase the poison damage. Ballistic mastery would increase the projectile damage. Chaos nodes would increase the chaos damage of the dot. Entropy would increase the damage from the dot. Entropy is actually a pretty good one. If you were to come all the way down here, there's this node that's kind of okay. It's something you could grab. And then there's also growth and decay, damage over time, and yeah, there's those. But when you use trap and mine, you can also start dipping into trap and mine nodes. So if you end up getting all that chaos damage and then afterwards getting trap damage nodes, so especially if you get the nodes that say increase trap throwing speed, trap lane speed, that's not really a big deal. But when you get both trap damage and mine damage, this is basically 18% damage for 1 point. Same with that one. And then you know, you could go even further. This is like a 36 damage point right there. That's 18% damage, 10% damage, but it has some throwing speed. You know, then we come up here, another 40% damage, plus an 18% damage. So that rings pretty crazy. You know, there's some stuff here that in all, you know, that's 36. You know, plus that, so like, you know, in the 50s. This one probably wouldn't really do much for you because it's not doing elemental damage, but if you were doing this with, like, let's say, explosive arrow, this would affect that. You don't have to do this with an arrow necessarily either. You can do traps with anything, but for this sake, this is kind of like the popular thing to do with poison arrow. So, and I just wanted to go over that. You know, but you also scale it with anything that ends up giving bow damage, or not bow damage, but with not bow damage. What is it? Bow level. Bow level. If it says +2 to bow level, or +1 to all gems in the bow, or if you get both of those together, increases the dot damage of the cloud. Also, Empower. Empower is a very good gem for this. Empower increases the level of the chaos damage, and basically at the end what you're looking for is a dot that's coming from a level 26, 27. You could even get a level 28 poison arrow, but I mean that would be like prime gear. So yeah. So I just figured I'd want to go over that, try to make poison arrow more clear, and hopefully that helped you. So thank you for watching this video. Have a good rest.